Alright, howdy there, fellow Shadow Priest. I hope everyone is enjoying their PvP experience in Dragonflight Season 4. I've been playing some Solo Shuffle on Shadow Priest, and I found that it's not really that bad. Like, I actually think that the dampening acceleration is pretty good for our spread pressure, and I've been having a lot of success lately in the lobbies. Like, I'm at least getting 3 to 4 wins every time. Climbing an MMR, my CR is not there yet. This is about 2600 MMR, and I figured we would show a melee cleave game because I know a lot of people struggle with that, and I kind of want to get back to the basics and give some general tips on how to maximize your pressure, talk about positioning a little bit, effective crowd control, and just overall give you some good guidelines for succeeding versus melee DPS. So we're going to work on this little notepad document here throughout the game. The first thing I'll say is it's really important to have a good opener, because if you lose pressure in the beginning of the match, it's really hard to gain it back. Or if you don't get any pressure at all, it's hard to get it going, and then it feels like you can kind of snowball, and then, oh my god, I'm dispersed, and I have to life swap, and I still haven't gotten a VT out. So we'll start by just getting a good opener. So in this matchup, I know I'm playing Ret, Shadow Priest, Resto Shaman, which I would say is probably one of my weaker compositions in this lobby. I just told the Ret in, like, say chat, hey, can you hodge the Ret in the opener? I'm going to go fast with CC on the Priest. This ensures that, one, I don't have to worry about the Ret sanking the healer out of CC because we're going to cross CC. Two, I don't have to worry about being kicked. And then three, it just puts us on the same page that we're gonna go instantly and try to get some damage out, instead of him walking in, hodging the healer gets sanked, and then I still have my stun and my silence, but I know that it's kind of awkward to use now. So let's just yeah, talk about that. Boom. So let's do one, get a good opener, coordinate, cross CC. I know it's hard to do in Soul Shuffle, but just like getting that idea in their mind before the round even starts is like, okay, cool, now they know what to look for. Like, he's gonna CC the Priest. And yeah, so that's a good opener. Two, we'll talk about positioning. I really just, before they get to me, I want to get some type of cast off, whether it's a Void Torrent or a VT. Here, since they are all in my line, I'm going to go ahead and just get my dots out. This is totally fine. I'm a little stacked right now with my Shaman. We don't want to stay too close because we can get double leg swept, and that would be bad. So instead of dismounting and Void Torrenting, which you'll see a lot of priests do, I opt to just get my dots up. Sometimes it's good to Void Torrent when people are, especially like running to the pillar and they want to duck out. I'll do a Void Torrent, get your idol out, generate some insanity. That's really good, but right now my priority is just to get dots on at least 2 of the DPS. So we got double dots out. So we'll just put cast dots before they are in range to kick you. Now, once I have my dots up, my next priority will be to get into Void form. I do like to triple dot, so I'll definitely dot the Priest at some point in this game as well. Since we talked about CCing the Ret and the Priest in the opener, I do my stun, he does the Hodge, pretty good timing there. Then a PI. I'm also going to fear the Windwalker now because it's going to allow me to get my Void Eruption off. So a huge thing against melee is understanding your windows of when you can be kicked and when you can't. Right now we have 1, 2, 3 players CC'd. There's only 2 kicks on the team, so none of them can interrupt me. This is really good that I'm going to hop into Void form with my Power Infusion active so that I will be doing a lot of DPS and I won't have to cast. So we'll say 3, get into Void form fast. Combo with PI to maximize early burst DPS. If you are too far to fear the healer, fear a DPS and silence healer to create a window to cast. A lot of getting proper damage out and not getting kicked is understanding these windows you have to cast, either if they don't have kick up or if they're CC'd and can't kick, or if they're too far away. There's like little things you need to look for. So now I'm gonna be able to get my Void Eruption off. I cast on Mind Games as well. I'm not entirely sure what the best offensive global is. While I can cast while no one's on me, I do like to get those casts up. Even if like optimally in PvE you want a Void Bolt off cooldown, you're not going to be able to cast Mind Games, Void Torrent, or like anything like that once they're on top of you. So I try to get as many casts out as I can before they're back onto me, and then I can start doing my single target damage. I threw a DP into the Priest, which honestly didn't really make a lot of sense there. I just want to point that out. what I like to do a lot of the times is when I see a defensive cooldown, whether it's the wall from the ret or the shield or like diffuse or wall from the monk, I like to just swap targets so that my single target DPS is as effective as possible. In that situation, it didn't really make sense to the priest. I gripped the healer on this end cap to get him away from the fear. Gripped him into the earthern as well, and that's actually going to cause a triple leg sweep. However, my ret trinket sanks the healer, and then my healer also knocks him away. So it actually like wasn't the worst thing, but in hindsight, you don't want to be stacked on your healer because then that can create easy cross CC opportunities for them. You can get your healer kicked a lot. So just be aware of that. That wasn't the best grip, but it ended up working okay. So now that I'm in void form, we'll say number 5. While in void form, do not get kicked on shadow. Rotate void bolt plus DP to generate pressure. If there's multiple kicks up, purge / pain is an effective GCD. I'm gonna also put while void bolt is on CD, it's okay to tank kick on Mind Blast. If you ever get kicked on Mind Blast, you just Mind Spike Insanity. It's like simple as that. I do something really stupid here, which is to fake a kick with Void Torrent. Now, this is not really the best thing to do because Void Torrent is actually pretty good damage, and ideally you want to get like a precog and then press Void Torrent. However, it does spawn your little idol, which is pretty nice, so it does do some kind of damage. And I really want to keep this thing right here. Do you see my Dark Evangelism? I need that to be at 5 stacks all game, so I need to do a better job of refreshing that. Otherwise, it's just a completely wasted talent. Anytime this ret runs away from me to go to my shaman, I'm going to start free casting because I know he's not going to be able to kick me. He runs back late to the party and is unable to get the kick. I know the enemy ret still has sank, and I know my ret doesn't have hodge, and I kind of want to just create a little setup here, so I'm just going to stun the ret and silence the priest so he cannot sank. Now I have to deal with the Windwalker's kick. I'm pretty healthy right now, so it actually wouldn't be a bad idea to tank a kick and then shoot out my Mind Spike. You don't want to get kicked when you're around like this HP. I get kicked on Holy, so it's fine, but if you get kicked on Shadow around 50, even 60%, that could be the end of you, so just be careful getting kicked on Shadow when you're that low. As soon as I come out of my kick, I'm going to use as many casts as I possibly can. So I dot 1, 2, 3, and then I do what I said. Instead of hitting the targets that are in the dome, which are going to have that damage reduction benefit from the dome, I'm just going to Void Torrent the Priest. That way my Psychic Link can kind of wither at those two while I'm doing more single target to the Priest. I'm also going to adjust my positioning now where I can put the DPS in a really bad spot. So this is going to do 2 things. One, going to make it easier for me to CC the priest because he's going to have to push into me. And then it's also going to bring him closer to my shaman, which is right here. So my healer is going to be able to get hexes if he needs. He's going to be able to get shears. And then also, like, he just won't be able to heal the ret. If the ret comes into me right now, he's going to be LS the priest. I can also use my fear to take advantage of fear and just fear the Windwalker off of me. When it comes to facing melee cleaves and I'm getting trained and I don't have like a freedom, I really don't try to fear the healer too much. I find that it's a lot of moving, and then 2, like the priest can outplay me with fade and death, and then the ret has sank still as well. It is awesome if you can triple fear off cooldown. However, I think you can find good ways to generate pressure without even having to fear the healer. I'm going to use my distance here to get this Mind Spike off to refresh my Mind Trauma, so I'm keeping my 3 stacks on the ret. You don't really need to go for like 2 sets of 3 stacks all the time, but if you can maintain it on 1, you'll at least get some value out of the talent. Another tip is to use multiple trees. Take advantage of multiple trees. So this means using MD a lot. Like, I'm not sure quite what I was going for on the MD here. I'm trying to pre-MD bubble, I believe. But a lot of teams, even if there's nothing to mass the spell, like you could be facing like Warrior, Windwalker, Rogue, where there's no magic CC on the entire team, and they'll kick MD just because they're like, oh, that's a spell that I have to kick. Like, people love to kick MD. So that's kind of a good tip, is to yeah, just tank kicks on MD, and then you can go cast Shadow as well. The monk's on me. I'm going to do the same basic setup I did before, which is to silence the priest and stun the ret. The ret land hands the priest there, really nice. I'm doing the master spell again, so there's the kick, and might get forced into a dispersion here. We'll see. I have stack on me, so I know that I can play a little bit more aggressive. I don't need to be holding a global for disperse. Have a fear. I'm just going to fear the DPS while the priest is sheared. The monk is, again, this comes down to positioning, right? Like, he gets feared so far into here that the priest can't dispel him, and then now the priest is off his pillar and he gets lassoed by my healer. So it's just really good gameplay positioning wise. I have my power infusion and void form ready. Ideally, I think you'd want to use PI to get your void form off. The fact that I'm going into my void form with only 6 seconds left on PI is not great. You really want to maximize your DPS while you can. PI outside of void form isn't going to be like a ton of burst for you. Use my first disperse of the game here, and I'm going to use that movement to create some distance. So I'm kiting away from the enemy priest, trying to pull them off that pillar while just moving, pressing Void Bolt and Devouring Plague to maintain my dots. The Monk Karmas, I'm going to stun him, silence the ret, relieve some pressure, and just finish the game. So this game was honestly pretty chill. I mean, I did top damage, we did good CC, defensive cooldowns were fine. Made a couple mistakes with that life grip, and what else did I do that was kind of dumb? I was attacking the priest with Devouring Plague. That didn't make a ton of sense. Another thing I didn't mention in the opener is just get that Shadow Fiend out as quickly as possible. But yeah, that's a little tip video. I hope this was helpful. Obviously, there are more difficult matchups when it comes to melee, like Warriors, I think, give us a lot of trouble. DKs can be kind of annoying. Demon Hunters seem immortal and do a ton of damage. So we'll try to get some more matchups where there's more than a Windwalker and a ret. But for now, I thought that was a good little example, and just how to play a basic melee lobby when all you need to really do is keep your dots up, do good CC, and kite them in a bad spot, and that can net you a win more often than not. Thank you guys for watching, and trying to keep this one short, so we'll check out another video tomorrow. Peace.